Hello, I'm Roy Whiffin, and this is Roy's Rant for this week. Start off with our Sugarland 95. It's understood that these poor souls have been reburied. It seems that it was done without ceremony. They blessed the land earlier on, but I didn't hear anything about any religious organisations or anything being there when these poor souls were put back in their graves. It would appear that Bend ISD, with the blessing of the city, just dumped them back in their ground and covered them over. I haven't seen or heard anything different, and I find it very concerning that these poor souls have been treated so badly ever since they were found. If you've got any information about this, please let me know. I haven't been able to find anything. Okay, last week I talked about Bend ISD and a young teacher that had put a video up on how she'd been treated in her first year. And it brought in some very interesting comments. Teachers don't like to talk about the problems openly, which is scary in itself. So it would appear that the administration, from Dupree downwards, don't like to hear of problems. And so what they do is that they try to make it as hard as possible for teachers to speak out when there's a problem. And there is a problem. There's a big problem. Teachers are being used and abused beyond anything that they should ever come across. And I don't understand it. As I say, there's a law from September the 1st that says that children can be criminally liable for what they do. But the teachers won't do anything about it because they'll get chastised by the administration, the board, and Dr. Dupree. So they tell me privately of all the different things that are happening and the way that they can't control a classroom. Now, if you can't control a classroom, you can't teach. And perhaps that's half the reason that Texas is 34 out of 50 as far as academia, which is scandalous. This area itself, Sugarland, for adults, over 53% are degreed and above. But so much of that is people that have come into the area because of the problems that they have in other states to work. So it's not representative of what's going on as far as the schools are concerned. Our schools are in terrible state as far as teaching is concerned. Oh yes, Dr. Dupree can spend $1 billion on the buildings and give all this money to his buddies at the EDC. We all know this. But as far as education is concerned, no. We need to do better, and we need to hold these people accountable. And I don't know how to do it because they've got a hold on the teachers at the moment. The teachers are in denial publicly. Privately, they'll tell you the horror stories that are going on. But it appears that the way schools are supposed to function, they aren't. They aren't functioning in any way that they should. And the higher taxes that you're paying for these schools and these teachers, well, the teachers aren't getting much money, Dupree gets his 400,000 a year, and his buddies get their hundreds of thousands a year, but the teachers get minimal. But we have got to do something about it in this area. We have got to make it better. We cannot have one or two schools that are at a level that is acceptable and everything else under a level. It's wrong and it needs to be changed. And the people to do it are Dupree, who get off his 400,000 a year and do something about it. The man is a shame to the education business. He got voted in by his buddies. I think if he'd have got voted in by the people, he'd have been sweeping roads by now. But there you go. Okay, lastly, not lastly, I've got two other things. I made reference to the fact that we don't have a preservation order on our Imperial Sugar. Imperial Sugar, those buildings down there on 90, they are the last vestige of Sugarland history. We don't have anything else. That's it. If you take those away, we've got nothing. We're just another city that has grown up around what used to be one of the original companies in the state. And I asked the question, why haven't we got a preservation order? And a very nice person came back to me and said, well, why don't they buy it? And I thought, what a damn good idea. And here's an idea that can be floated. Instead of paying 6.6 million for Bogart's Killing Barn, the animal shelter, we give those people $1 million to extend their existing facility. And if you can't do it in $1 million, there's something wrong. And we take 5.6 million together with the 1.2 million for the roundabout that we won't need, Steuben's roundabout, and we buy Imperial Sugar. That would be the water tower, the chaff building, those silos, and the big storage buildings at the back. That way we can preserve Sugarland history for all time to come. I'm going to say 6.8 million is a fair chunk of change to look after that area. And we don't have to worry about it. We know that for all time, from there on in, we look after the history of Sugarland. It doesn't seem to be that. And lastly, there is a meeting for the Animal Society. It's at 101 Gillingham Road. They're hiding it away from the city offices, and they've decided that if they put it at 12 o'clock lunchtime, then nobody can come from work and object to what they're doing. You know, it just goes on and on and on. If you're going to have meetings and you're going to have it open, then it's got to be at a time that the people of Sugarland can come and voice their opinion. You don't stick it in a building in the back of the industrial area of Sugarland at noon. But there you go. So if you're interested and you can get away, it's on Wednesday at 12 o'clock at 101-A. What A is, I don't know yet. Gillingham Road off of 90. And maybe I'll see you there. In the meantime, with God's blessing, I'll talk to you next week. Bye.